welcome to the explainer. We have all been there, right? A perfectly lovely family outing suddenly goes off the rails and turns into a full-blown meltdown. Well, today, we're going to dive deep into one of those exact moments to see how we can turn that conflict into a real connection. And it all starts with this. Words that, let's be honest, almost every parent has heard in one way or another. I want to go home. It's that moment where a happy day just seems to crack, and all that frustration from a child just comes pouring out. So let's set the scene. Imagine a family. They're out, they're enjoying their day, and then bam, the peace is just shattered. A 9-year-old girl gets into a fight with her cousins, and she is just completely distraught. To her, in that moment, her entire world is falling apart. Her gut reaction? Get me out of here. Flee. But here's where things take a really interesting turn. Instead of just reacting to her demand, the adults see something more. They see this not as a problem to solve, but as a real opportunity to figure out what's actually going on beneath the surface. So rather than matching her anger or shutting her down, they start this really gentle investigation into her pain. And believe me, this is where the magic really begins. The first tool they use is something we can call patient probing. Now, the goal here isn't to get a quick answer. Nope. It's all about creating this safe, judgment-free zone where their real feelings have a chance to come out. It's a huge shift from just reacting to what you see on the surface to actually truly listening. And you know that urge we all get as parents to jump in with a quick fix or maybe a little lecture? Well, they resist that. They just hold the space, ask these really simple open-ended questions, and focus completely on digging down to the root cause of her distress. And you know what happens? Because of that patient, non-judgmental approach, the real reasons start to bubble up to the surface. And it turns out this fight in the park? Oh, that was just the very, very tip of the iceberg. So, first thing we learn? This whole conflict didn't even start in the park. It started back at home. She felt like she had no say in the decision to go on the trip in the first place. So she's been carrying around this feeling of being powerless and unheard this whole time. Then we peel back another layer, and a much deeper anxiety comes out. This isn't just about a family outing. There's a school result looming over her head, and it's casting this huge dark shadow over everything else in her life. And finally, we get to the fight itself. This wasn't just some silly little squabble. For her, this conflict feels genuinely threatening. It's triggering a physical fear response in her body. Her hands are literally shaking. And then we hit the absolute core of it all. The deepest wound. A single traumatic moment at school where a teacher shamed her in front of everyone. That's what shattered her self-esteem. This, right here, this is the real source of all that pain we're seeing. So now that all the real issues are finally out on the table, the conversation makes this beautiful pivot. It moves away from just investigating and moves toward real, genuine connection. I mean, listen to that. How powerful is that? An adult doesn't just say, I understand. They model vulnerability. By sharing how the child's words made them feel, they're saying, I feel this with you. Her pain is now shared. That is what true empathy looks like in action. The adults then do something really clever. They spot a separate, much smaller conflict happening, a lopsided trade between cousins, and they turn it into a teachable moment. They praise the girl for standing up for her little brother, which reinforces this idea of fairness and looking out for each other. It's just brilliant. Okay, so the family now faces this critical choice. It's a fork in the road, and it's a choice that really defines this entire interaction. Do they run from the problem, or do they stay and work to repair it? And this is the crossroads, right? On one path, they can flee. That teaches avoidance. Nothing gets solved. On the other path, they can face it together. And that path, that leads to understanding, it repairs the relationship, and it actually builds resilience for the next time. And look at how they frame this. It's not an accusation. It's a genuine question. They're helping her see that resolving conflict is a skill, like a muscle. And if you run away every single time, you're just skipping your workout. You never, ever get stronger. So after going through all of that, what can we really take away from how these adults handled such a complicated emotional situation? What are the big lessons here? It really all boils down to these 5 incredibly powerful principles. First, listen beyond the behavior. Look for the why. Second, Validate their feelings. Let them know it's okay to feel what they're feeling. Third, model vulnerability. Show them you're human too. Fourth, turn every conflict into a chance to learn. And maybe the most important one of all, prioritize that connection over the need to be correct. These aren't just ideas. They're the tools that turned a family crisis into this incredible moment of healing. And, that's the real power of this story. By using AI to analyze and break down what happened, this stressful moment between kids becomes a guide for all of us. It shows us how any adult can play a more conscious, positive role in conflict and really nurture emotionally resilient children. For anyone who wants to learn more about these kinds of techniques, here's some great contact information. And all of this leaves us with one final, really powerful thought. What if every conflict wasn't a crisis we had to avoid, but a chance to connect even more deeply?